The Cowboys have always been one of the better teams in the league in terms of finding undrafted free agent talent. They consistently find guys that push for spots on the 53-man roster. Even if those guys aren't making a huge and immediate impact, filling in those final roster spots are crucial. Some notable undrafted free agents on the roster right now include TJ Bass, Rico Dowdle, Malik Davis, Peyton Hendershot, CJ Goodwin, Marquise Bell, along with a host of others. And lastly, John Stephens Jr. Stephens is the one particular player on this list that we're going to talk about in today's video. Stephens had a phenomenal start to training camp and the preseason last year, but ended up tearing his ACL that forced him to miss all of the 2023 season. So let's take a look at the athletic upside, what we should expect from him coming off the ACL injury, and where he could potentially fit amongst this tight end room. Let's get into the video. At the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, Stephens was a wide receiver. His production wasn't great, but the physical tools were certainly there, standing at 6'5", 232 pounds. And that's why he made the move to tight end. The skills he had were transferable to the tight end position, and it gave him a better shot at making an NFL roster. As a tight end, Stephens is quite the athlete. For the position, his explosion grade is elite, landing in the 89th and 93rd percentile. His speed grade also elite, 85th percentile, 94th, and 98th. His agility grade was good, 66th and 58th percentiles respectively. So that athleticism and wide receiver background showed up early in training camp practices. It seemed like every day he was making a play that found its way into the best plays of the day on social media. Stephens showed some real upside as a receiving threat, and people were noticing him just about every single practice. But sometimes we see these guys have great practices, we see the highlight plays from camp, but it's more about stacking those good days. For tight ends in particular, are you consistently going out there, winning your one-on-ones, showing upside as a run blocker, making plays in team drills, and really earning the respect of the coaching staff? It's not really talked about a whole lot, but the tight end position is really hard because you have to do so many things and do them well to find yourself on the field in an NFL game. For Stephens, I thought that he stacked those good days enough for a rookie that you'd want to keep around and potentially develop. Stephens came out hot in the preseason. Against the Jags, he caught 5 passes for 56 yards and a touchdown. And I'm not gonna lie, this game is what really cemented I think this dude can make the roster. Would he have made an impact as a rookie tight end that just recently switched positions? I have no idea. But we didn't get to see what the Cowboys had planned for him because he tore his ACL, effectively ending his rookie season. In that short amount of time that we did get to see him on the field, he made his impact as a receiving threat. And being a wide receiver in college certainly helped him do that. But what it didn't really help with was his edge in terms of being a ready-made run blocker. But in that Jags game, he had some good reps against defensive ends to open up running lanes for Deuce Vaughn. His ability in the run game can improve, and it already has. The progress that he made from early training camp to preseason was actually impressive. Now the question is, what does Stephens' chances of making the roster look like in 2024, especially with him coming back from an ACL injury? I think we're all a little bit weary of guys coming off lower leg injuries. It hasn't ended great for the Cowboys or the player. Right now, the names in the tight end room are Princeton Fant, Jake Ferguson, Peyton Hendershot, Alec Holler, Luke Schoonmaker, Brevin Spann-Ford, and then Stephens. Obviously, that's not in order. 2 guys right now in that room I would consider roster locks. Ferguson, of course, and then Schoonmaker because of the draft capital. After that, though, it's fair game. We've heard rumblings about Spann-Ford, but don't really know what he'll look like until he gets on the field. We've also heard good things about Princeton Fant and his ability to be a blocker and a receiving threat as well. The Cowboys could carry 4 tight ends. Last year on the initial 53-man roster, they carried 3, with Sean McEwen being the odd man out and him jumping back and forth from active roster back down to the practice squad. We've seen the Cowboys keep 4 tight ends before, but with how the running back room is right now, I could see them opting for Hunter Lipke a spot because of his blocking ability. I think it's likely at this stage in the offseason that the Cowboys carry 3 tight ends, with Ferg and Schoonmaker being the 2, and then number 3 just being up for grabs for whoever wins it. While Stevens has the receiving advantage, Span Ford has the advantage as a blocker. But all of these things can't be answered until we see Stevens back on the field from that ACL injury. Like I said at the beginning of the video, we're all a little bit weary of what guys look like coming off that ACL. They can get back on the field quickly, but it doesn't seem like they're really themselves. And for a guy that's fighting for a roster spot in training camp, he's going to be hard-pressed to get back out there, get on the field, show the coaching staff what he's got in a very short amount of time. Training camp does not last nearly long enough for some of these guys to get in there and prove themselves. Now, before we go, I am in the process of creating a training camp guide to help you guys keep up with every player, every position battle, and it'll be available to anyone that signs up for my weekly newsletter. It's no spam, just straight Cowboys news plus a training camp guide. Click the link in the pinned comment, sign up, and your guide will be available before the beginning of training camp. So what do you guys think? Should John Stevens be able to make this Cowboys roster? Do you have another tight end that you think pushes him off the 53? Comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I love you all, and I'll see you next time.